Ryo Gagatoku Studios' Like a Dragon Ishin, a remake of their 2014 game of a similar name, has been received very well in the West, the first of the Like a Dragon spin-offs to achieve such a feat. While still suffering from some outdated issues such as an overabundance of menus, it's made many improvements. Coming in with Ryo Gagatoku's usual visual, narrative and musical flair, Ishin has some really cool little details that at first might go unnoticed. In recognition of that, let's take a look at some of the cool little things that RGG Studios has done across all the Yakuza games, now officially being renamed the Like a Dragon series here in the West. I'm Scott from WhatCulture.com, and this is Like a Dragon, 11 details in Yakuza games that'll blow your mind. Number 11, Majima 56 Goro. Majima Goro is a regular character of the series, playable in several games and a boss fight in most others. His name, Goro, can be construed as referring to the number 56. Numerous games in the series have subtle references to this fact, none more blatant than Yakuza 0, which sees Majima attempting to scam Kiryu out of exactly 560,000 yen, with the phrase 5 for the go, 6 for the ro. In Japanese, go is 5 and roku, shortened here to ro, is 6. Dead Souls, a what-if spin-off positing the Like a Dragon universe in a zombie apocalypse scenario, also has Goro wielding a pair of shotguns dubbed versions of an MJ-M56 model. Likewise, in the remake of the second game called Kiwami 2, there's a mode where you play as Majima and he starts with exactly 56,000 yen. Number 10. Secrets hidden in tattoos. Yakuza's various tattoos across the series are reflective of their owners' personalities and storylines. For example, Nishikiyama Akira has a carp swimming upstream on his back. This is a pun on his name meaning a type of fish, as well as the myth that a fish can turn into a dragon by swimming up a waterfall. It matches his storyline perfectly. Like a carp who never transforms, he feels he never becomes as good as the dragon and main protagonist, Kazuma Kiryu. The tattoos also hold more subtle things, like the fact that Kiryu's back tattoo is clutching a pearl with the character for monkey rather than dragon. This is because Kiryu was born in 1968, a year of the monkey in the Eastern Zodiac. Yakuza 0's final battle between the two dragons, Kiryu and Shibusawa Keiji, also shows two dragon tattoos, though Kiryu's is unfinished at that time. Kiryu's dragon faces upwards, clutching the aforementioned pearl, which signifies strength and accomplishment, a sign that he's becoming better and staying true to himself. Shibusawa's dragon is sitting still, perhaps even facing downwards and without a pearl, indicating that he's not yet achieved his desires, and also hinting that he will never achieve what Kiryu eventually does. Number 9. It's all in the name. Many of the characters across the Like a Dragon series have narrative puns with their names, as we've mentioned with Majima Goro's 56 motif and Nishiki's fish. But there are even more subtle ones in there too. Makoto's real name is Xiao Kao in Chinese, meaning tall dwarf tree. Other examples of good name puns are Bacchus and Miss Tatsu, the former being named after the Roman god of wine, their version of Dionysus, who Kiryu meets outside a bar during a night of drinking. Miss Tatsu is a debt collector who works with both Kiryu and Kasuga Ichiban, her name meaning both dragon as well as to rip apart, likely owing to the fact that she's a master of the beast style that she teaches Kiryu in Yakuza 0. The guy you meet in several boss battles in Yakuza 0, Daisaku Kuze, has a fun, perhaps unintentional pun to his name too. While Daisaku means masterpiece, his given name Kuze is made up of two characters, Ku and Ze. The spelling of Ku means for a long time, and that spelling of Sei can mean chance. Kuze is literally the chance that keeps appearing. Interestingly, Ku can also mean long time no see, a fitting joke considering how many times this boss pops up. Number 8. Ryomas Footwear and Hiyori. For those unaware, the plot of Like a Dragon Ishin is basically that Kazuma Kiryu is cosplaying as Sakamoto Ryoma, cosplaying as Saito Hajime of the Shinsengumi faction. This places the setting of the game during the Bakumatsu Revolution of the 1860s. One really cool feature you can see is evident when Ryoma is staying in Kyoto at the inn. Owing to Japanese culture's abhorrence of wearing shoes inside, Ryoma's sandals will disappear from his feet when he steps on any interior floor, complete with the sound effect for his footsteps changing too. When you walk back out onto the dirt floor in the entrance, the kitchen, or into the garden courtyard, your sandals pop back on. Like in Pokemon Legends Arceus, where the same feature is seen if you visit your home, it's an easily missed visual that adds to the immersion. Another neat touch for a Bakumatsu period piece is the fact that characters Hiyori puff out behind their left side to compensate for their katana hanging behind them. Hiyori are a type of jacket with a split in the back that samurai used to wear in the olden days. Most games have a sword clip right through when a character wears a Hiyori, and that goes for most outfits in video games even to this day. Number 7. Remember Me? In the remake of the first game called Yakuza Kiwami, an interviewer introduces himself with the name Tachibana. At the end of the interview, the man asks Kiryu if he remembers the name. If the player gets it right, Kiryu says, "Tachibana, I could never forget a name like that." A subtle reminder to how important Tachibana Tetsu has been overall. Likewise, in the remake of the second game, Kiwami 2, one of the items at the Sushi Jin restaurant is made from the Nishigyoi fish. When Kiryu sees it, he'll remark that seeing Nishiki brings back memories. Nishiki was the nickname of Nishikiyama Akira, his oath brother who eventually turned antagonist in the first game. Number 6. Majima's fake accent. Majima Goro is a wild and crazy dude, no doubt about it, though he's a bit smarter than he lets on. Majima speaks with a Kansai dialect, unlike many others in the game who speak with the Kanto dialect, which makes sense given his backstory of working in Osaka for the Omi Alliance, at least initially. On a few occasions, characters have either commented, mocked, or warned Majima that his accent is slipping, implying his whole speech pattern is a farce. In Japan, the Kansai dialect is considered the more backwater accent of the land compared to the Kanto dialect. It would be like someone from Oxford speaking with a West Country accent, or for any Americans, a Bostonian speaking with a Wisconsin accent. Here it only adds to the mystery and actions of the character, adding another layer onto why fans adore him so much. Number 5. Kiryu's unique introduction chime. When a character is introduced in the Like a Dragon series, they tend to have a freeze-frame moment with their name, association, and position within a particular organization. The same short music stinger sounds whenever this happens, except when Kiryu is introduced for the first time. Kiryu, the series' primary protagonist, is the only character introduced with his own unique chime. In later titles when he's presented, they also use this unique stinger for every introduction. Number 4. Goro Majima's conservationist attitude. One thing that makes Goro such a great character is his nuanced vibe. On the one hand, he's a psychotic murderer, but on the other, he's a caring friend, in his own way, and a strangely honorable guy. He's willing to kidnap a girl to get Kiryu to fight him, but he admits he'd never stoop so low as to actually harm her. Several games in the series have Majima remarking on environmental conservation too. Take a scene in Kiwami, the remake of the first game, where Majima is so into berating a dude for not doing his civic duty, that is, recycling a plastic container, that he initially turns down a fight with Kiryu. He warns Kiryu of the dangers of throwing plastic in a bin headed for the incinerator. "You're gonna be there to take responsibility when we've got toxic gas dioxins floating around?" In a flashback sequence in Yakuza 4 when Saejima Taiga mentions that Japan is hotter than normal, Majima responds, "Whole country? Try the whole world. We're destroying the Earth's environment, the ozone layer's all messed up too." Majima Goro and Final Fantasy VII's Barrett Wallace, the team-up that we never knew already existed. Number 3. The style makes the music. The Like a Dragon series is as well known for its music as it is for any of its other features, the combat, the humor, or the melodrama. Not unusual for games overall, characters will have specific musical tracks assigned or for specific battles. A neat thing that some Yakuza games do though is have the same track play, but change tempo or style when you switch fighting styles. The latest game Ishin arguably does this best. We've mentioned that Kiryu has a unique introduction chime, and Kiryu as Ryoma only has one music track for his fights with the various wandering street thugs, regardless of their type. It's called Midare Shikabana, meaning 4 disturbed flowers, or commonly translated as 4 unrestful flowers / unrest of the 4 flowers. In his weaponless hand-to-hand mode, the music is pretty plain instrumentally, a bit bare with some lasting notes. However, bust out the katana and the music gains a little harsher percussion with a much sharper end to each note. The composition for the gunner fighting style has a bit more of a backing from the string instruments bringing the notes together, and the wild dancer style using both katana and pistol adds castanets to make it more exotic, emblematic of the literal flair present in those animations. Number 2. The reason Kazuma Kiryu doesn't appear in other fighting games. With the inherent level of action in the Like a Dragon series, it's no surprise that there have been calls from fans to see Kiryu in a fighting game. It's no secret the marketing potential of crossovers in fighting games either. The entire King of Fighters and Smash Bros. Series are built around them. However, RGG Studio has continually refused the call. Kiryu has been a guest character in other games such as the Hot Shots Golf series, Super Monkey Ball, and in the multiplayer mode for another Ryuga Gotoku title, the criminally overlooked Binary Domain. The reason for Kiryu's abstinence from most fighting game crossovers revealed in 2021 is that series creator Nogashi Toshihiro doesn't want to see Kiryu hitting women. And number 1, Majima learned a lot from Nishtani. Nishtani Hamare is a Yakuza family head in the prequel game Yakuza 0. He deals a lot with Majima Goro and is part of the reason Majima turns into a wild man, the mad dog he's eventually called. Just to drive home the point of how much influence Nishtani's personality had on Majima, the former's introduction animation from his boss battle against Majima in Zero has parts and motifs reused as Majima's boss battle later on. Even Nishtani's fighting style is shared heavily with Majima's own Mad Dog style, cementing the influence and showing exactly where it came from. And those are our picks for 11 details in Yakuza games that have hopefully blown your mind. Let me know your favourites down in the comments below, and please subscribe to the WhatCulture Gaming Podcast. For now, I've been Scott from WhatCulture.com, and I'll catch you soon.